4:37 a.m., a man named Daniel rubs his hands together to keep them warm. He's been walking in circles for an hour, not because he's restless, but because stopping means losing heat. A bus passes. No one inside looks out the window. They can't hear the sound his breath makes when it hits the cold air. Daniel used to work the morning shift at a grocery store. Now morning feels different. He looks at the sky, the color before sunrise, the color he dreads. Because when the light comes up, he has to decide where the next hour of his life will be. The hour when Los Angeles turns cold. Los Angeles feels unfamiliar before the light touches it. The city that glows by day becomes unrecognizable in the dark. The air feels colder here than the numbers suggest. Concrete keeps the night inside it. Concrete never shares warmth. A faint breeze sweeps across empty streets, carrying a quiet bite that forces the body to stay alert. This part of the city doesn't hum yet. It holds still, as if waiting for something to break the silence. A figure walks slowly through that silence, head down. Jacket pulled tight, hands rubbing together in small circles, trying to hold on to whatever heat remains. His steps are short, controlled, deliberate. Not meant to travel, meant to survive. Temperatures have dropped into the low 40s tonight. Not freezing by definition, but dangerous when you're sleeping outside. Public health experts warn that hypothermia can begin even at mild temperatures, when a person is exposed for hours, tired, and without insulation. The man walking knows this in a way textbooks can't explain. His name is Daniel, a name most people will never hear, a man most people pass without noticing. He once had a room, a morning routine, a sense of where his day would go. But life can shift quietly, then suddenly, and the streets can become your only option. A bus turns the corner. Its headlights wash across him for a brief second. His breath glows white in the beam. Then darkness returns, quiet and heavy. Thousands of people in Los Angeles face nights like this every winter, nights where movement replaces blankets, nights where each minute feels longer than the last, nights where the cold becomes a constant companion. Daniel keeps walking, not to reach somewhere, but to avoid stopping. Because stopping means letting the cold in. Stopping means risk. He waits for the first hint of sunlight, hoping it arrives soon, hoping it changes something, even a little. Because when the city finally wakes, he will still have to choose where the next hour of his life will be. The city that wakes before the sun does. Los Angeles looks peaceful before dawn. The skyline rests, traffic sleeps. The famous brightness of the city is still hours away, but in the shadows of that calm, another version of the city is already awake. Blankets rustle in alleyways. Steam escapes from subway grates. Breath becomes part of the morning fog. A man folds his tarp with practiced precision, as if he has done this for years. A woman warms her hands above a street vent, catching whatever heat the city forgets. The temperature sits in the low 40s, colder than the palm trees imply, colder than tourists imagine. Public health data warns that long exposure at this temperature can lead to hypothermia, respiratory strain, and exhaustion that follows a person all day. More than 46,000 people in Los Angeles face homelessness this year, and over 60% are unsheltered, sleeping in tents, cars, or open sidewalks. Many wake before sunrise not because they want to, but because the cold leaves them no choice. Headlights pass over them like brief spotlights, a face illuminated one moment, gone the next. This quiet part of the city teaches something daylight hides. Los Angeles wakes in two layers, one chasing dreams, and one fighting for warmth. When morning exposes more than it warms. Morning arrives like a soft curtain rising. The city stretches, streetlights dim, warm colors spread across buildings. But for those living outside, morning is not comfort. Morning is exposure. A man lifts his head from a thin blanket. A woman washes her face with leftover water from the night. A young adult gathers documents, ID, papers, notes, each one a fragile connection to services. Morning light reveals everything the night hid: cold fingers, tired eyes, and the weight of another day beginning. Researchers say people without shelter spend hours each day accomplishing tasks. Others finish in minutes, finding a bathroom, finding a place to sit without being displaced, finding safety for a short moment. Morning becomes a checklist of necessities that never stops growing. A city this big moves quickly. People walk past with coffee and backpacks, never knowing the quiet struggle behind them. For those outside, morning is not a fresh start. It is a reminder that stability depends entirely on where they can stand right now. The sun climbs higher, shadows shrink, the day becomes louder, and the people who woke before dawn now begin the hardest part of their routine, trying to keep up with a city that hardly knows they're there. Winter moves slowly, but it never stops. Winter in Los Angeles doesn't crash in loudly. It creeps, it settles, it lingers in the air long after sunrise. Cold here is subtle, but subtle doesn't mean safe. A woman coughs into her sleeve. A man wraps a thin blanket around himself twice, hoping it acts like insulation. Two friends share the fading heat of a single coffee cup. The cold doesn't sting sharply. It drains slowly. Public health experts warn that hypothermia can begin around 50 degrees. When the body is tired, damp, or exposed. Respiratory illnesses rise in winter among unsheltered residents, especially older adults and people living with chronic conditions. People think Los Angeles winters are gentle. They aren't. Not when you sleep on concrete. Concrete leaches warmth. Concrete hardens muscles. Concrete does not forgive. A man rubs his hands together, as if trying to spark warmth out of thin air. Someone else paces to keep their body awake. Someone else sits perfectly still, saving energy for later. Winter takes slowly. First sleep, then strength, then choices, and the people living outside feel each of those losses more than the rest of the city ever will. The numbers that shape the night. Numbers can't feel cold, but cold creates numbers. Numbers grow in the places where people try to sleep through winter nights. A tent under a bridge becomes a statistic. A family living in a car becomes a report line. A man on a bench becomes a data point. But behind each number is a full life the city rarely sees. Housing prices in Los Angeles have risen over 30% in the past decade, but wages have not. Many adults experiencing homelessness report job loss or sudden financial shocks right before losing housing, a medical bill, a rent increase, an unexpected emergency. Public health studies show that many unsheltered people live with untreated conditions, not because they refuse help, but because access is limited, wait lists are long, and services don't reach everyone. The numbers explain the scale. They don't explain the feeling of trying to sleep through a cold night with nothing separating you from concrete except a thin layer of cloth. Statistics matter, but the stories inside them matter more. How stability breaks in real life. Homelessness rarely begins with a dramatic fall. It begins with small cracks, a late paycheck, a rising rent bill, a job cut unexpectedly, a medical emergency that drains what little savings were left. 1 in 3 Americans has no cushion for crises. A single unexpected expense can shift a person from stable to vulnerable overnight. Mental health services often require long waits. Affordable housing waitlists stretch months, sometimes years. A mother sleeps in her car outside a 24-hour store to keep her children safe. A young man carries everything he owns in a single backpack. A father rereads an eviction notice he never recovered from. These situations aren't failures of character. They are failures of safety nets, thin nets, old nets, nets full of holes. That many fall through. Long before help arrives, stability breaks quietly, but rebuilding it requires strength most people never have to imagine. Skid Row, a community under pressure. Skid Row is a place the world talks about, but rarely understands. It is not chaos. It is structure pressed under weight. It is community shaped by necessity. It is survival, day after day. Morning arrives early here. Volunteers unload food onto folding tables. A mobile clinic opens its doors under a streetlight. People greet each other the way neighbors do everywhere, with nods, smiles, and shared history. Skid Row became a service hub because decades-old zoning decisions restricted shelters and affordable housing elsewhere in the city. Everything gathered here: resources, nonprofits, medical teams, because other neighborhoods refused to hold the responsibility. Today, thousands live here. Thousands more come here seeking help. It is the heart of support and the reminder of what happens when prevention fails long before response begins. Skid Row isn't a spectacle. It's a mirror, a reflection of everything the city could fix, but hasn't, at least not yet. Different lives, same fragile line. Homelessness does not have one face, or one story, or one reason. It arrives for the young, the old, the working, the alone. Maria sorts her medical papers each morning, as if organizing her past can secure her future. Derek checks his phone for a message from his caseworker, hoping today is the day something changes. A young woman ties her shoes tightly, ready to walk miles in search of a resource center opening. Older adults are entering homelessness faster today than any generation before. Former foster youth face high risk because they step into adulthood without a safety net. Working-class residents fall into homelessness after short stretches of lost income or rising rent. Different paths, different pasts, same fragile line between stability and the street. And once someone crosses that line, the climb back is never easy. What actually helps people stand again? Real solutions exist, quiet ones, proven ones, ones that do not rely on luck, but on support, structure, and dignity. Housing First gives people keys, before paperwork, before requirements, before conditions. Permanent supportive housing pairs stable homes with healthcare and counseling. Mobile outreach teams meet people where they are, bridging the gap between clinics and the street. Studies show these programs increase long-term stability, reduce emergency calls, and improve health outcomes. The problem isn't effectiveness, it's scale. Demand grows faster than funding, need expands faster than capacity. But every new bed, every added outreach shift, every expanded program changes someone's tomorrow. Small steps, real steps, life-changing steps. When the sun rises, the questions begin. The sun rises gently over Los Angeles. The warmth returns. Buildings glow. Traffic hums. The visible city awakens. But for people living outside, sunrise is the hardest hour. The night has drained them. The day demands movement. Where to go next? Which line to stand in? Which shelter might open? Which service might call their name? Public health workers call sunrise the decision hour. The moment fatigue meets necessity. The moment survival meets uncertainty. There is no dramatic conclusion here. No perfect answer. Just quiet truth, human truth. A city is not defined by who sleeps in comfort, but by who has no comfort at all. And each sunrise asks the same question: what kind of city do we choose to be next?